What's going on, guys? Week 1 of training for what I will call the US Open Prep is underway, done, finished, felt good. It was a good solid week of training. The reason I am titling it as, what I'm calling the US Open Prep is because, as some of you guys know, I just opened up a gym, and the grand opening is actually this weekend, March 3rd. So if you guys are in the Portland area, make sure you come and check it out. It's an awesome gym. We have a lot of stuff that's really cool that separates us from any other gym that I've ever seen and been a part of. So I'm really excited for that. But that's obviously my top priority right now, especially for the first year, is making sure that it's running good and we're making money, right? Because I mean, that's gonna pay the bills. That's gonna give me the quality of life that I'm looking for, and that's gonna be something that I have to devote all my time to in order to make it successful. So I'm definitely planning on continuing to push for the US Open and continuing to prep for it, and hoping that the gym doesn't get in the way of that. But if it does, it does, and I'll continue on until I have some more free time to push through. But with that being said, training for it, it's going well. Obviously, new squat stance is a little bit, not the greatest. I have a lot of deficiencies in that area with flexibility, and also with my VMO and my quads being a little bit weaker due to the style of training and the style of squatting that I've done previously. Really developed the upper portion of my quads and really developed my hips and hamstrings. But I'm finding that with this closer stance that I'm having some issues with a little bit of strength out of the hole. That's keeping my quads underneath me and not pushing my hips back. So that's something that I'm gonna have to work on. And obviously the best time to work on that stuff is through a hypertrophy phase, which I'm getting ready for a US Open. Don't really have the time to really rectify that situation. So I was talking to a client earlier today, kind of telling them that, squat's going good, but I probably won't have my strongest squat until another year or so, because I just have a lot of stuff to work on. So that doesn't mean, don't compete and don't do things that you want to do in order to progress your other lifts, because you can still progress them all and just come to the realization that, like, your goals and your what you want to accomplish is going to take a little bit longer than you thought. But that doesn't mean everything else has to be put on hold. It just has to mean that you are okay with that, and you know that it's building and it's getting better. And although I may not squat close to 800 like I did last year, I know that in the years to come I'll be an 800-pound squatter every meet that I do. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited for the potential of that, and I'm really pushing that type of training, even if it is kind of detrimental for this meet prep. I don't want to take too many steps back and not keeping up the volume. So I have a Friday session where it's more of a higher volume, more of a quad dominant session, and I'll keep that in as long as I can in order to recover still and train on my Sunday squat days. So training's going well in that aspect. Shoulders feeling a little bit better, getting some work done, finding the root of the problem has been the key. And I feel like now that I have that, I'm able to put a lot of work and effort into that area. But you have to be careful when dealing with an injury. More is not always better. If you continue to beat it up and work on it, that may make things worse. So you have to do just enough to create some type of stimulus, some type of adaptation, so it can heal and recover and get better. But you don't want to do so much to where everything hurts and it just gets worse and it starts to deteriorate more and more. So that's kind of the fine line that I'm running with right now, and so far so good. Each session's getting a little bit better. Each time I do some of the therapy stuff, it's getting a little bit less painful. So I'm happy with the progression in that. Deadlift's feeling really good. I'm very happy with the progression in my pulling, and I feel like it's definitely clicking a lot more than it used to, which is good, because that's always been the hardest thing for me to kind of conceptualize, is like how to pull the deadlift without just being like, oh, I'll pick it up and put it back down. So figuring out the technique here has been extremely helpful. And then beyond that, recovery's going good, implementing a lot of sleep strategies, that way I fully recover during sleep, getting some blackout, or we have blackout curtains, also getting a Tempur-Pedic eye mask to continue with that. Also got a air iodizer and humidifier, so just trying to do everything we can to make sure that sleep quality is at an all-time high, so that I'm able to recover from the training five hard days a week, 1 active recovery day, mostly like rehab, prehab stuff for my shoulder and a little bit of back work and biceps. I feel like the more I can train my biceps, the less I get elbow tendonitis and stuff like that going into a meet. So I try to keep that up as frequently as possible and keep the volume high on that, and just continue to work on that and continue to try to maintain health. So even though I'm in the gym 5 to 6 days a week, not all of those days are fully dedicated to pushing things and going all out. Some of them are just lighter active recovery days, working on some of the things I need to work on. Nutrition's been good. Started gaining weight after the LA Fit Expo, realizing that being a smaller 242 guy is not ideal. I don't do very good with cutting weight. I don't do very good with dropping weight, getting leaner, and still being strong. I know it's a long-term process to do that successfully, but it just fucks with my head way too much. So I'd rather just, you know, I got into lifting to be big and strong, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna continue to gain weight and get stronger and get bigger, and you know, implement little small mini diet cuts and stuff like that to make sure that I'm not just getting fat. But it is the way it is. My genetics don't really tend to keep me super lean all year round when I'm trying to gain weight, and that's fine. Performance is the key, performance is the goal, and that's what I'm doing. So as of the LA Fit Expo, first weekend of January, it's been about 6 to 8 weeks of adding some calories in, and I'm up close to 18 pounds, 17 pounds. So I feel pretty good. I feel good with that. I'm taking progress pictures. I post them up on my Instagram stories, and I'm also taking measurements to make sure that I don't get too fat in certain areas, and that I continue to maintain course with the eating plan and trying to get my calories up as high as possible. So if you guys are more interested in the nutrition stuff, feel free to ask, and I'll answer some questions on that. Hope you guys enjoyed the training videos. If you like the video and you want to continue to see the week-to-week progression into hopefully what is the US Open, and not just me talking about something that I'm not going to do because my life's too complicated, make sure you like, subscribe, and then if you like the content, share it with friends. I really appreciate you guys always coming in and watching and chiming in the comment section below. So I'll catch you guys next week in week 2 of the US Open.